Um, Hi, everyone. My name's Bindia Patel. I'm the Executive Director of Leadership Tomorrow, which I think is the coolest job in the universe. I am thrilled to be here with you all today and to get to know you all a little bit. If you're in a place where you can turn on your video, please, you're invited to do so just because it's fun to see who's on the line. And feel free to go off and on as you need to. Um, Today, you're here for an info session about LT Impact. And hopefully, that's what you thought you were signing up for when you signed up. So, what I'm going to do is introduce the team. We're going to talk probably 20, 25 minutes about the program, about Leadership Tomorrow, all of our programs, and specifically a little bit more in depth on LT Impact and the application process. We're going to hear from one of our amazing alum who also happens to be the chair of our screening and selection committee, Erin Parker. And then we're going to have time to answer any of your questions and answers, any of your questions. If you have questions along the way, please feel free to drop them in the chat because that way you won't forget them. And we'll probably respond to some of them as we go if they're like easy, yes, no, number questions. And then some of them we might put online at the end. We are recording this info session just because we know a lot of people can't necessarily take time off in the middle of the day, and so we want to make sure that they get all the info as well. Before I go any further, I want to introduce you to um, two amazing humans who are on the line. You will meet and hear from Paula Moranin shortly. She is our Impact Program Manager. Hi, Paula. And also an LT Impact graduate back when the years started with a one from 97, 98, 97. It's a good year. And then you will also get a chance to meet Megan Rudolph, who you all have maybe already heard from. If you have any questions along the way on the application process, on any of that, Megan is your person. So on that note, I think we're just going to get started. Next slide, please. So, if you already made it to the info session, you've probably already been to our website and seen the Leadership Tomorrow mission, vision, and values. So, I'm not going to read them out loud. I'll just say I think Leadership Tomorrow is all about bringing people to learn and grow together in community so that they can make the region and the world a better place in whichever way you intend to do so. So we are really grounded in our values that you'll see there. We will talk about them over the course of the program and we really try to live by them. And for me, I think a lot about the importance of a place like LT right now is it's really hard out there. It's hard to be doing our day jobs. It's hard to be doing the work that we want to do in the community and really just be there for our family and our friends. And so Leadership Tomorrow really provides people with the space to take a breath, to meet some other humans who are struggling along and trying to figure it all out. And also give you some space to reflect and grow and think and be creative and get curious. And um, I think when you get to do Leadership Tomorrow Impact, you'll have 12 dedicated days to be able to focus on your own development. And you'll get a lot of people that you're going to meet in between each of those program days. And so I think that's really what LT is all about in all of our programs. Next slide, please. So we now run three programs. The one that most people know is called LT Impact. This is the one that we've been running for over 40 years. It's the one that you're going to hear a little bit more about. And it's a 10-month program. And so I'll hold on that because you're going to hear all sorts about that one. We have a brand new program that just graduated a week and a half ago, LT Elevate, which is a 6-month leadership program for folks who are earlier in their careers. That that really focuses on kind of on professional skills, like how do you have influence in your organization? How do you speak up in a way that people can really listen? Like what's your communication style and how do you use it? And how do you drive change? And what's your role in that? So that Elevate will also be running, and those applications will open in a couple months. And then LT Project Lead is a program that was run by the United Way for many years, over 30 years, and we just took that on and we're running it right now. It's a program for folks of color who are new to board service. It's all the nitty-gritties of how do you read a financial statement? How do you do fundraising? What are the legal liabilities that you sign up for when you're on a board? So, at any point, if you all know of anybody who you think would be interested in any of our programs, you can go online and you can either send them to our website or nominate folks for any of those three programs. And just wanted to let you all know that there's three now. Next slide, please. So, a little bit about the Impact program structure. You'll start with an orientation, an evening orientation in September, where you just get to know folks, hear a little bit more about the ins and outs of the program. We have a fall retreat on a Sunday, Monday at the end of September, where we go on to the other side of Bainbridge Island at the Clearwater Resort, and you'll dive in a little further, get to know your colleagues, start to work on some of the learning objectives. And then you'll have a monthly possibility day, which is almost always the second Thursday of the month during the day. So the program days run from 9 to 4, and then an optional social hour that happens after that. There's a mid-year retreat over a Friday, Saturday in February, and then there's leadership labs, which are like small groups that you'll connect with in between all of those days. All of these dates are on the website. And so if you're even thinking about applying, hot tip is to go in and save those dates on your calendar right now so that you know when you're planning your next like fun trip that you kind of try to stick around and stay in the Seattle area for those days to
Mhm.
really get the most out of the program. Next slide, please. And this is just a snapshot of who participates in LT Impact. We have a cohort of 80 participants from private, nonprofit, and public sector. We are aiming for folks who are mid to senior level leaders, so people who've been doing this for a little while and who are getting more and more influence in their spheres, whether you're a solopreneur or you're an executive vice president, like it doesn't matter the size of your organization, but you're starting to have some more influence in your community or in the institution in which you work. The age range, it goes from 25 to 65. Our average age, I think, is around 39. And we are a very racially diverse cohort, over 50% folks of color. And it's folks who live and work around the Puget Sound. I'd say about 60% of the folks live in Seattle, but we go and cover 5 counties around the Puget Sound. So, and some of the possibility days will go not just in Seattle, but we'll go down to other, go up and down and across the region. So you really get to know the region a little bit
Mhm.
more. I realized one day that like part of my job is to work with this team that gets to run field trips for adults, basically. It's super fun. Um, okay, and I think with that, I'm going to hand it off to Paula.
Hello. Um, it's very nice to be with you all and appreciate you all being here. I'm just going to slip in my rainy day thing, which is try to get my to be read book pile down a book. That's my rainy day activity. So I am so pleased to be able to be here and describe a little bit more about the program. Participating in Leadership Tomorrow is an investment in yourself and our communities. Here are four key program objectives. The first is leadership development. You're going to build a toolkit of essential leadership skills. The second is enhanced regional knowledge. You're going to gain a deeper understanding of the interconnected challenges and opportunities that shape our Puget Sound region. The third is cross-sector network. You're going to join a community of leaders from diverse fields and create enduring relationships that extend beyond the program. This is true for me even 28 years later. And then advance racial equity. You're going to have a chance to deepen your understanding of racial equity and anti-racism. So in the next few slides, we're going to delve into each of these program elements. So next slide, please. Fantastic. So, strong leaders are always learning, growing, and adapting. Leadership Tomorrow provides real-time learning opportunities to help you develop and practice leadership skills in a low-risk environment. And I can't emphasize that last part more. Um, it is a great place to be able to be and to exhale and to look around to people who are engaged in their own leadership journeys, but you're sort of walking side by side and try be able to test some things out, talk some things out. the low risk environment and supportive environment is just really critical. Our leadership skill building focuses on three integrated skill sets. The first is understanding and managing oneself. The second is using adaptive leadership skills to address complex issues with others. And then the third is stewarding inclusion and belonging. So, developing and practicing these skills with your cohort members will give you the opportunity to lead with curiosity and courage. Those are two things we keep coming back to over and over in the program because they're essential qualities for driving meaningful change. Next slide, please. Um, so this is where we talk a little bit about learning about the region. To be an effective leader, it's important to understand the bigger picture. So we help you understand the interconnected challenges and opportunities that shape our region. We explore regional issues by looking at 7 key regional issues. Bindia spoke about the dedicated program days. We have 1 day each for each of the following 7 key regional issues: neighborhoods and communities, health and well-being, economy, basic needs, arts and culture, environment, and education. We want to help you see how these factors are interconnected in the work to build a thriving region for all. Each month, as I said, you're going to explore one of these elements, learning from experts, community leaders, and peers about the complexities of these issues and the opportunities for leadership and action. These conversations are framed using a racial equity lens and how leaders can work toward a more just and equitable future for the entire region and for all the folks who live there. Um, You'll hear from inspiring leaders who are driving change and working collaboratively to address our region's most pressing issues. And these experiences will help you see where your skills, interests, and leadership can make the greatest impact, whether it is board service, whether it is advocacy, volunteerism, um, gathering people in your community together, making changes in your own workplace. This program is designed to help you identify your power, your agency, your sphere of influence, and then max those out. Let's go to the next slide, please. So, leadership thrives on collaboration and diverse perspectives. Leadership Tomorrow connects you with leaders from across industries and sectors, expanding your perspective and approach to problem solving. The relationships you build in LT go beyond networking. These are lifelong connections that serve as sounding boards, collaborators, and trusted colleagues. I think we just heard from the LT Impact class of 2016 that they just had a 10-year reunion and they've been meeting consistently since they got together. I think Bindia, Megan, and I got a video of sort of this ad hoc group of Black women from last year's class who had gotten together for dinner. So those connections are those are very real. So you'll gain insights from different leadership experiences, helping you navigate challenges and opportunities in new and innovative ways. I know for me, I'd spent all my time prior to being an LT being around public sector folk and nonprofit sector folks. And I had really never been around private sector folks other than waitressing at Red Lobster. And it was amazing to be able to be in that space, but to be in that space in a way that, again, is really low risk. Um, by joining LT, you're going to become part of a thriving alumni community of nearly 3,000 regional leaders and influencers, opening doors to continued learning, partnerships, and impact. And the network is one of the most valuable takeaways from LT. These are people who are going to support you, challenge you, and inspire you throughout your career and leadership journey. And these are the folks that you're going to go to get into, I think, as John Lewis described it, good trouble together. All right. Let's go to the next slide. We integrate a focus on racial equity and anti-racism throughout our curriculum. We start with a hypothesis that focusing on and connecting the 4 curriculum elements we just looked at builds capacity for sustained racial equity leadership work. Our focus during the program is setting the stage for leaders to be able to take continuous action for racial equity. So it's not a side dish, it's integrated within the program. We continue to learn and do better every year because we learn from the cohort. So this is one of the areas where we really try to bring in sort of the integration of all of the skills and all of the experiences. And I'll turn it over now to Aaron.
All righty, thank you. All right, so you heard about the program, and now we're ready for that next step. We're going to the next slide. And very important piece, that due date. We're
Mhm.
looking at applying by March 31st. Not on, but by. So hopefully, if this sounds like something you are interested in, you head to the website and get started on that application because, again, we want that by 8 p.m. on the 31st. Let's see. You'll be part of your application process is writing two short essays, about 250 words each. You'll also upload a 2-minute video, and submit. If the application fee is a barrier, and your household income is below 115,000, you will just email Megan and request a scholarship for that. Let's see. The selection process is competitive, and some applicants may be invited to a 15-minute phone interview, with LT alum between May 4th and the 22nd. And some may be accepted without an interview. So just be on the lookout for communication from LT staff. The process this year includes some folks getting automatically into the cohort, and some people that need we want to ask a few more questions to determine their match with the current cohort of applicants that we have. We'll move on to the next. All right, so what are we looking for in our candidate? So we are very intentional about assembling a diverse group of leaders. The screening and selection committee works very closely with Megan and Bendia and the LT staff to really make up a good group of folks. We're looking for diversity, be that race, ethnicity, geography, sector, and many other areas that we want to look at for diversity. The people that you'll meet in LT will be one of the most valuable aspects of the program. I think the hard work that our volunteers in screening and selection and the LT staff do to make sure that the cohort is like a good mixture of the public, the private, the nonprofit, all of that goes into the experience that you have. And so that's a very important piece of the program. And you'll build those meaningful relationships with individuals in a wide range of backgrounds and experiences. So that's great. Um, these are some characteristics that you see on the screen here: leadership in your area of influence, curiosity, openness to multiple viewpoints and a desire to broaden your perspective, willingness to work in a multiracial learning environment and engage with others at different stages in their learning journey, and deepen your personal role in advancing racial equity. A strong interest in the curriculum and a willingness to learn and practice LT's values. Again, something you can check out the website to see. And then reasons for wanting to participate in the program are beyond networking. While we all have mentioned the fact that that is going to be a big piece of your experience with LT, that cannot be your sole interest. It will come out in that application or your quick interview. And we want this to be for folks who understand the value in that network, but this is not the sole purpose of you wanting to apply for the impact program. And so every interview and application question is designed to align with and assess these 6 kind of core characteristics. And so always be mindful of how you answer the question should tap into showcasing you in these 6 areas, so that you show up your best in your application. Next slide. Here's some additional tips. Participating in LT Leadership Tomorrow is a meaningful experience. One of the most impactful when you can fully commit and engage. So before you start the application, please do review the 27 program schedule. So the orientation, we have a fall retreat, a mid-year retreat, and all are very essential components of the program. And attendance is required. And so we don't want you to not only go through this process, get into the program, participate, and potentially miss some required things and not be able to graduate with your cohort. And potentially have taken a spot from somebody who was available that we weren't able to give the spot to. So please do look at that calendar. If it's not this year, maybe next year is the year, but please make sure you're available for all those dates. Let's see. Making sure you review the overview of the program just through our website, just to familiarize yourself with that curriculum and understand what to expect throughout the experience. And then some other tips that we want to share with you. As part of your application, you will answer 2 short essay questions. Each question has multiple parts, so please do be sure to address every aspect of the question. The level of detail and specificity in your responses can make a significant difference in your score. A lot of times, even in our professional life, when I'm talking to folks who are interested in maybe applying for a job at King County, I work for King County now, it's like, you can't expect a recruiter or the person on the other side to be connecting dots. So, yeah, it could be listed on your resume, but if the question is asking you something, don't assume somebody's going to automatically know, oh, yeah, they got that experience or they know how to do that thing because they have these jobs over here. You need to make sure you're highlighting that in your response and connect the dots for us. We are volunteers, so the easier and more blatant you can make it, please do that. We encourage you to be open and authentic in your essays. A key part of LT's value is the vulnerability and openness of our participants that you bring, and that starts with the application. The volunteers who are scoring your application aren't looking for answers they agree with. They want to get to know you, and we'll score your applications based on the 6 characteristics that we just talked about. And so please do share as much of yourself as possible. Again, we're the LT staff screening and selection. We're looking at how do we make a good cohort of 80 people? And that means there's going to be a different hodgepodge mix of who those people are and what it looks like. And we're going from this bigger pool of folks to a smaller pool of folks. And we want to make sure that if we're looking for the social worker, mental health professional from out of town, that you don't look like all the other social worker, mental health professionals from out of town. How do you highlight what it is that you're bringing to the table that may help you stand out? And I say that to say that that could be, you might actually, because you do end up looking like the other social worker, mental health professional from out of town, this might not be a year for you. So don't ever take a no as a final no. Please do think about the work that's going into creating the cohort is looking at every individual and how you play a piece of that 80-person cohort. And it might be that we have enough people that maybe have shown up the way you show up or have the skills and background that you have. And we're looking for some, to make sure that we have a good mixture there. So please do not be discouraged to apply again if this year just doesn't work out, whether it be for your schedule, whether you get denied entry, whatever the case. Please do think about applying again if this year doesn't work out. One last thing is, not one last, definitely minimize your use of ChatGPT. We want to know you, not hear from a robot. It is very clear when that is happening. As much as people don't think we can tell, we can tell. Because then all your answers kind of look similar to everybody else's because the bot's only so smart. But another final piece on this in terms of tips, do not wait till the last minute. We mentioned that earlier. It never fails. Technology is great until it isn't. So please do not wait till 7:30, 7:59 to try to submit. Get in there as early as possible. Read through the process. Be mindful of your responses, and just go ahead and get it out the way. And I think that's the best thing you could think about now is confirm those dates. Does it work? Let me get in here and do this application, get it out the way, and know that, I guess you could move on to the next slide. I was going to jump right into tuition. As you can see on the screen, tuition's $6,500 plus the tax. Financial aid is available, and the $100 application fee is non-refundable. But as I mentioned earlier, if your income is under $115,000, then you can request a scholarship on that application for the non-refundable application fee. We also provide financial aid and payment plans. So be thinking about, is this, never lead with the tuition piece, please. We know the LT staff do a lot of work with you and your employer and other folks who are donating to people so they can attend the course, attend the cohort to support this tuition. You indicate that you are interested in financial aid in the process, but that is not part of our decision making. We wait until we decide who the cohort is, and then Bendia and LT staff are doing their magic to really make sure that the need is addressed across the whole cohort and not heavy on a couple folks and not on so many. But the goal is that you will have some skin in the game. So you may have your employer pay some, and you may need to be coming out of pocket, and hopefully you can get your employer to pay it all. We would love that for you. But if not, we definitely are looking for you to also have some contribution into that. Let's see. Again, applications are due on the 31st. Let's remember, by the 31st at 8, not on. That means you can do it anytime before. And again, please do indicate if there's any need for any assistance in that application process, and then your application fee, that needs to be an email to Megan to make sure you get in there. And if you think you're gonna request that, that definitely is another reason to get started in that process. So we will move on to some alumni voices, and lucky for you, I'm that voice today. I continue on. Look at me. But just wanted to share. I'm LT 2017, and that the program. Luckily for you all and everyone involved, the program is always changing and shifting, so it looks different today than it did when I went through. As I'm sure it is for Paula, that it is, the application process is different. What it looks like at the challenge day might be different, but it's because every year LT is receiving that feedback from participants to say, hey, this went well, this didn't go well, this was missing, where the difference would where it would help to make a difference in how folks are impacted by impact. So I will say that born and raised in Seattle, and so it's always interesting when you do things like this, leadership or any kind of professional connection. You're in the city. To me, I felt like I had the connections I needed. But because I'm born and raised here, I went to school in DC and came back. But being born and raised here, a lot of my connection was just because I'm the youngest of four and I know everybody because everybody knew my family. And if somebody was a cousin, like I had those kind of connections being from the city, but not so much on the professional side. And so I took advantage of the program. My CEO and my supervisor at the time had gone through the program. And so at least I had that piece. And so what I really learned is I initially went into it thinking like, oh, I'm from here. I know what the problems are, how to create a healthy neighborhood. And my background is social work, mental health. So of course, I think I know everything about how to solve and fix the systems. But it wasn't until I got into LT, got engaged with my cohort and my lab team and my group and really start leaning in and engaging in this that I actually build the skills necessary to move the needle on a lot of the work that I thought I was just going to hit the ground running because I had this background of being from here. So it definitely helped build those skills. It helps assist with my kind of cross networking. So across the sectors, I started out after grad school in community mental health and doing that work. And then shortly after completing this program, I moved over into the public sector and began work with the county. And so it definitely gives you not only the tools to be a better leader, show up differently, but also puts that fire in you to be like, you know what? Is this where I'm, I think it was mentioned, is this where I'm actually having the best impact for what I can do? Or do I need to move somewhere else to utilize the skills or tap into this network that I just built with these 79 other people? So great experience. Again, shortly after, came over to the court side and worked for the county. A lot of my initial meetings with folks, one of the chief judge at the time was an LT alumni, council member, now county exec was LT alumni, and so there's all these meetings that I was having once I came to the county that I can drop the LT name and be like, oh yeah, I'm getting that meeting set. I know. So it was a great experience for me. Joining boards was another thing, and feeling like, there's a place for my expertise to be shared as we all get together and try to solve this thing and create these healthy neighborhoods and communities for folks. So I think I'll leave it there in terms of my uh, kind of reflection on the program, but I know we're going to have some Q&A. And so I know those that are feeling comfortable, please do raise your hand and we can move. Hopefully I'm supposed to be doing this. India, am
I
I
could
supposed to
I
be?
I
Oh,
could take it over, my friend.
I'll pass it to you.
Yeah.